Happened in the 90s.
Matt was the fat kid, Steve was the black kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
This is Cowabungie. And this is Cowabongo. But the turtles for your 16-bit system are Cowabunga! Holy cow, it's Turtles in Time! The cool arcade game for Super NES. Now with tasty turtle duels. And psych up your Sega Genesis with the Hyper Stone Heist and all new 3D Turtle Crash. So remember, this is Cowabingo. But the turtles for Super NES and Sega Genesis are...
Cowabunga, dude.
Yeah, I'm convinced JK Simmons was just destined to be a villain, man. Like,
He's just got a hateable face, Steve, you know? And I feel like a bald guy is like, I don't know, nothing against my bald brothers out there. Steve's, you know, we're both
getting
losing
there.
our head a little bit, or our hair a little bit, so we're going to be there. But there's something about like an asshole that's also bald where it just works, you know?
even if he had hair, though, I just feel like he has that face that you just want to punch repeatedly.
He's got like a smile that's like a good fuck you smile, like something where when you're getting like pulled away, like he's smiling and you're like, oh, you son of a bitch.
And he can do that smirk that it's villainous. Just,
Yeah, and also, but it also hurts when you realize that the asshole that's doing that to you is also the voice of the peanut M&M. You know, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta add a little like spice to the wound. Where you're like, real that guy really? I just got bitched out by the peanut M&M. Fuck.
that's Dan the Barber from Pete Pete.
Dude won't never talk.
But the drummer movie, he was an asshole in that. He was an
Yeah.
asshole. Was it Spider-Man?
Mm-hmm. J. Jonah Jameson, they brought him back because he was such a good asshole. They remade Spider-Man, but still brought his ass back just to make it that much more confusing with all the crazy, weird multiverse shit they're doing. But yeah, it tracks, Steve. Because we're gonna get to it. I mean, today he's in the '90s. He's playing an asshole, but you just might be right. No JK and about it. JK Simmons
Hey, yo.
might be. I mean, is he typecast or is it just destiny to play an asshole?
It's his destiny, man. You know, I feel like him and James Spader are neck and neck, man, as far as like just punchable faces that you can only be cast as the bad guy.
I don't think is James Spader intimidating or is James Spader more of like a seductive, like perverted asshole? He's always telling you how something equates to like sex. You know, I feel like that's the vibe.
I get rich boy vibes. The guy that he looks like the guy that always got his way. And you just want to beat him up because of that. JK Simmons is actually intimidating.
Do you think he's big? I mean, most actors aren't large statured people. Do you think the asshole also has like a body to go with it where he can just like physically intimidate you?
Man, I just Googled JK Simmons and like the first result was him at the gym just juiced to the nine.
Jack City?
He's
Steve, what?
JK. I don't know. Yeah, this is his new look, man. So I don't want no problems with JK.
JK, Mr. Simmons. Apparently, we don't want to fuck with you. I don't know what picture Steve's looking at, but you know, I could see JK getting a little fucking juiced up. Maybe he's gonna be in a Marvel movie, Steve.
Dog, he's throwing him up. But that doesn't take away the fact that he's an asshole in movies, man. Invincible. I forgot about that when he's in that.
Is that is that the cartoon thing on net or on Amazon?
Amazon, yeah. And he's
Omega Man or something?
and yeah, it's a good show, but once again, he's an asshole.
Doesn't he kill all the human beings? Doesn't he kill Earth? Like, isn't he just like Superman, but if he was evil?
If it's the guy I'm thinking of, he killed his son, dude.
Well, I haven't seen it. I've seen things, and I only know about him specifically because his character is in the new Mortal Kombat game as a playable character, which is pretty dope. But I can't argue with you, Steve. I can't. The barber character on Pete and Pete. I mean, that 5 minutes of screen time. I don't think that erases all of the asshole shit that he's cinematically done. But again, to Mr. Simmons, whatever if you're benching a shit ton of weight or curling or whatever, just know that me and Steve think you, the person, are just a great guy. But you, the character you've played, primo asshole.
It's more amazing than Reptile Boy found in swamp. More incredible than Bigfoot marries Hollywood star. It's Super Mario All-Stars is free.
I want to know how.
Just get the Super NES Super Set, and you can send for a free Mario All-Stars game.
I did it. Now look at me.
4 Marios in 1 delivered straight to your house by Alien Postman. You'll play every Mario Brothers made. Retouched photos prove it's true. Hurry, pick up your copy today. Super Mario All-Stars is free.
You'll love it.
Extra!
Oh, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Mad G, What Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your right said Fred and your drop dead Fred, because you can do what you want to do and live in color. And live in color.
In the 90s.
There we go.
Freestyle it, Steve. Make it ours. Weird Al Yankovic, that shit.
Oh, man, I'm lost my touch, man.
We can do what we wanna do, because we're talking about the 90s.
See, you're doing too much.
Yeah, that was too much. You're right.
The bars have to fit, Matt.
Bring it back. I'm white, Steve. I don't have the natural, I can't do it. That's why I never offer a freestyle. I have no bars,
You only get one shot, man.
Spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti.
Well, today, my friend, we're talking about all things March 7th in the 90s. Starting off in 1994, In Living Color is airing season 4, episode 18, Duke and Cornbread Turner. And I didn't even know they gave these episodes titles like that, but
it's got to be pretty weird if you're just reading a TV guide, but you know, you watch it, you get it.
yeah. And the first thing is Isabel Sanford, and she's selling Weezy cough drops.
Yeah, man. If you don't already got some throat trouble, have a Weezies, Steve. Ah, God damn it. It turns you into Nick Nolte in 3 seconds.
How does she get such a smooth, sexy voice? And it's the Weezies. It's the Weezy cough drops. And a guy comes along and he's got this cough. So she gives him a Weezy. Try a Weezy.
Is my throat bleeding? How is it now? Oh, it feels great, girl.
And then a little boy comes up and he wants a Weezy. She gives him a pop. And now
He sounds like Froggy and Little Rascals, Steve.
Say George, Florence, Tom, Helen.
It's now available in cherry, tar, and sandpaper. The Wheezy. What was that? It's like the same Harriet voice, Steve. What's going on with all these raspy ass voiced women in the 90s?
Man, fuck Mary Kill, Weezy Jefferson, or Harriet Winslow.
Oh man. Damn, that's tough for either way. That's a Sophie's choice.
Aka.
I'm coming, Ka. I'm gonna squirt, Ka.
Lick the brown hole, Ka. And my
okay, keep going.
This next skit is the one that sold me. It's a Different World parody, but it's titled Different Message. It's a different message. Gonna shove it down your throat.
Really, to me, the winner on this one's fucking David Allen Greer, Steve. I mean, everybody comes out and does their thing, saying some really poignant, but it's everything's a message, Steve, just like you thought. Everything, every speech, every conversation's a message. But who's David Allen Greer trying to spoof like character wise?
Well, Takia Crystal Kima, she's Whitley, and one of the Fly Girls, I believe she's supposed to be Freddie, and Sean Wayans, he's Dwayne Wayne, and Jamie Foxx is Ron, Dwayne Wayne's buddy. The guy who does the one fish, two fish, something Jamal, AJ Jamal, that's his real name. He plays the cook, and the Dag, he plays Sinbad. Because Sinbad, he was on a different world up until like 1990, 91. And he just comes in with a microphone. Man, I had to come back, man. I heard Whitley was using hairspray. That stuff is messing up our atmosphere. Man, you know what I'm saying, man? I ain't lying.
What's up with all you ladies buying all them shoes, man?
shoes like, man, get me out of here, man. But Jamie Foxx playing Ron, that was hilarious too. He's like, I got my master's degree in booty. He's just because like the Ron on the different world, he's like this horn dog, and Dwayne, like they're both immature, but he's like a little bit more mature than Ron or whatever.
Hilarious skit. But again, dang, I was laughing. I almost spilled my coffee on my computer when he came in with the mic, dude. I mean, just going crazy.
Like he plays Sinbad a couple of times on this show, man. And then the next skit is Why? And they touch on something that's true. Like it annoys the fuck out of me when reporters, it's called Why, reporters affecting accents. And whenever reporters say something that's Hispanic, they want to throw in the accent, but they never do that with like an Irish story or an Italian story.
Enchilada. Yeah, especially if it's like Mexican or Spanish, they really try to go hard on the pronunciation. But I like this because it's not even like the obvious ones. It's like, what if it was like it's like, hi, chichay, going to get a pint down at the, it's like everybody. And I would love to honestly try this. I might watch the news a little bit more,
And news would get canceled a lot quicker, I tell you that, dude, because everything's so sensitive. Over at McGillicuddy's.
That's a spicy meatball. But yeah, why, Steve? Why do newscasters try to go extra?
Why do people do that in general, man? Because I know in like Mexican restaurants, people like to do they like to turn it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember specifically like in Italian restaurants where you'll get like just a very white dude or like an older white chick. They're like Pecorino Romano Reggiano. It's like, bitch, you're from Toledo. It's probably Kraft. It has Kraft on the bottle that you poured this shit into. So that is weird. I never got that either. But they have to affect the voice no matter, because even if they don't do an accent, they're like, tonight at 6 p.m., something's in the water killing us all. We'll reveal what it is. It's, fucking, they have to put on the radio voice no matter what.
So that they have to switch it up. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, trying to do I can't, even if I go to like have you ever tried to do like a pronunciation when you go get like Mexican food or something where you see it and you're like, you try to do it? But it's like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't try that.
Let me get that chorizo.
Yeah, don't do it. Just don't. But next, I mean, I didn't expect this. A Super Dave Osborne cameo in Living Color, Steve. I love this. Super Dave.
Yeah, another relic from the 90s, man. I remember he had his own show on Fox at one point, man.
Yeah.
There's only so many like explosions out of the cannonball you can do. But yeah, he's on the ones and twos, and J-Lo, they're the little mini cameo from her, man, future star. And she's getting him together. He doesn't know what he's doing up there. And then we'd have a little fly girl gig, man.
But he's going to do a live stunt. Which also, what a hilarious thing. Remember when they used to do that, though? Like when they'd actually do that? What was the guy's name? What was the main dude?
Evil Knievel?
Yeah, Evil Knievel. Like he's gonna jump 8 buses at 10 o'clock tonight, or his son too. I remember his son famously took like the ultimate L, trying to jump the Grand Canyon, maybe or something crazy.
No, that was him that tried to do that.
But his son, well, okay, yeah, but his son took a crazy L too on live TV. But what a hilarious thing! Why possibly watch someone die at 8 p.m. tonight, jumping over some bus? Are there stuntmen now, Steve? Is this gone? Is this gone?
I mean, I saw Cirque du Soleil. It's pretty much the same shit, man. But
Yeah, you're right.
in a circus setting.
You got to get a residency now. You can't just jump a few buses every year or so and just call it a day. You know.
Still got David Blaine too. I don't know if that's not really his bag though. But next is the Charles Bronson's Make a Death Wish Foundation. Hey, pot
Hey,
scum, here's a 45. Keep the change. The little kid, he's at an amusement park, what have you, and he can't get in because he doesn't have the funds. And Charles Bronson just shows up, and he's like, the kid wants to go in. Here's a 45. Keep the change. And so he bonks the frog upside the head, and so the kid gets to play. And now they're at a football game. Somehow the kid's on the sideline with the team. The kid wants to go into the game and play, and the coach is like, "Nah, kid, get the hell out of here. Beat it." So Charles Bronson again shows up, like the kid wants to get in a game.
hey, coach.
Don't worry about defense, kid. I got him covered.
I mean, even kids sometimes want to. God bless, Steve. God bless you. Sometimes a little kid wants to go meet the pilot, Steve. Well, this kid wants to fly the fucking plane, and I mean, this last one, this might be considered terrorism, but it's Charles Bronson. Let the kid fly. Come on. I'll bust you one. Actually, he does. I think he cold cocks the pilot, Steve.
Hey, kid, it's about time I make a wish, too. Then he takes the stewardess to the back. Take it easy, kid. It could be some turbulence.
Make a Death Wish Foundation. I like that. That's good wordplay, Steve. Next up, it's the stun, Steve. We've been waiting all night for this. Super Dave. What is the actual stunt again?
So there's like a pad. There's a cushion at the bottom, and he's supposed to jump directly onto the target, and then the target is marked to the side of the cushion or whatever. And so if he hits the target, if he doesn't hit the target, he'll donate his whole salary to In Living Color's favorite charity. And if he hits the target, they must double his salary, and half the donation goes to underprivileged stunt kids of Manitoba, Canada. And he gets to date a fly girl of his choice. And
Love that.
he misses it though.
I mean, he misses everything, not just the target. He misses the bag. I mean, definite permanent brain damage here.
Now he's roadkill. And speaking of Dave's, another Super Dave comes into the scene, and he's just like, "Hey, Super Dave, are you all right?" And he's like, yeah, tell the fly girls forget about it. Since I'm here, can I have a memento?" And David Allen Greer's just like, "Hey, can we give him the turntables?" It's like, turntables? What?
And next, Duke and Cornbread at the dog show.
Oh, I'll be John Brown running. Well, you Chester's boy. You about as small as a tick on a dog's ass.
Sir. But yeah, this is like Westminster Dog Show, Steve. People are here. They have live dogs that are doing some tricks. They're very obedient. And then in comes Jamie Foxx. And Duke, I believe, is his dog, and he's not as lively as the other dogs, Steve.
Look at that dog. Lobby John Brown running. And like everyone is just thrown off guard by this. I mean, as you would expect, it's a dead stuffed dog. And Matt, you asked me earlier what came first, this or the Martin episode where, they stole the CD player. I think
Yeah.
this one came out first because this was 93, and that episode of Martin was like season 2 or 3. But
Both
yeah,
great moments in comedy. I mean, the Martin episode is just unforgettable, but I guess a stuffed dog put in the right situation is comedy gold, Steve.
throw that in there with the fake flying person.
The fucking with this just a mannequin going off the building. Hell yeah.
That and the fake chase, the fake sitcom chase. Oh, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, and then like he personifies the old black man to a T, like just like that old Southern, like, well, I'll be John, just those little sayings. I'll be John Brown running. Ain't you office boy? Like he sounds like he's talking like my great uncles and my great grandfather.
When everybody, sometimes like people are trying to like go with it to be nice, but every once in a while, like Jim Carrey's the judge, and every once in a while, I'll be like, "Sir, you have to try to, you got to get this, you got to go." And he'll just go into another. He's like, "I'll be John Brown running," and I'll be like, "Aren't you the so and so?" Yeah, blood coming out of his booty and shit. Like it's just like a weird story. Like
Look at Wilson. What Stanky Stephen? I can smell you like a bag of clams. They drenched him in alcohol, put a firecracker in his butt, threw him off a bridge, and cracked his head on a rock. Well, how be John Brown running, boy? I tell you.
Sir, you have to get out of here. Your dog is. I forget what Jim Carrey says, but he's like, "You trying to tell me Duke can't do this, man?" He gets all emotional. Oh.
I think he's competing with the who's the lady? Kelly Caulfield. She's one of the contestants with her dog, and she's like, "Can Duke do this?" And she runs the dog up the stairs. It's like, "Oh, can Duke do this?" And so he drags Duke up the stairs. Want to see somebody run up the stairs? Come on, Duke. And she's like, "I think he cheated." What cheated? Duke can even do impressions. Come on, Duke. Come on, let's do Lassie. Wait, where'd you say Timmy was? Oh, he's in a well? Water well or oil well? Oil or that ethanol petroleum? Oh, man.
Yeah, Duke's not gonna win any competition, Steve. But you know, his owner loves him. I'm gonna be dragging Mason's dead body around when I'm crazy and old, so I get it.
Hey, man, you might win a prize because Jamie, or Grandpa, I should say, he mentions that Duke had his rabies, so everybody just storms the fuck out of there, and by default, Duke is the winner.
Yeah, he's tired. He'll celebrate later.
And how 90s can this episode get? Up next, we have Rosie Perez. She wearing a Malcolm X cap, introducing Naughty by Nature, performing Hip Hop Hooray.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I can both agree that Rosie Perez was one of our 90s crushes extraordinaire. White Men Can't Jump made men of us all, Steve.
Naughty by Nature.
God bless.
And 2 years later, on that same network, Fox is airing New York Undercover Season 2, Episode 20, Unis. Detective Eddie Torres is informed by a snitch that cops are shaking down and murdering drug dealers.
Goddamn crooked cop, Steve. Makes me fucking sick. Also, I just can't help because I didn't watch the show, and unfortunately, before I saw New York Undercover, I saw Cheech and Chong still smoking, and in that Cheech plays a side character called Eddie Torres, who's just the costume is a green oversized shirt with 3 balls drawn on it, and it's Eddie Torres is E.T. the extra testicle. So instead of Eddie Torres detective on New York Undercover, I think of that all the time. So that's unfortunate. Little side note.
Thanks for sharing.
Eddie Torres, the extra testicle. Check it out. Still smoking out for years.
I mean, I've seen the movie. Anywho, White Lines is the soundtrack for this scene, and the cops, they're trying to crack down on these nasty drug dealers, and that Grandmaster Flash is just playing in the background. White Lines.
Ooh, ooh, wait. God, this is such a good song. I used to, weirdly enough, I listened to this in like when we lived in Bowling Green. There was a Scarface soundtrack that Def Jam released. I think Scarface the rapper produced it, but this was one of the first songs on it. And I mean, higher, baby, get higher, baby, get higher, baby, and don't ever come down freebase. I mean, it's catchy. I would have done crack cocaine, Steve, or whatever back in the day if I heard this.
Yeah, let's hope not. Let's just think that somebody talked you off the ledge.
Nah, dude, give me some.
And they're
Free
not.
base.
And not only are they busting these perps, man, they're beating the Rodney King dog and cat shit out of these perps.
Yeah, it's these cops are going a little bit above and beyond the Call of Duty, and they get somebody like in this, it's like a New York building area where it's like surrounded by buildings. They're beating the shit out of the guy. I think they end up killing the person that they're beating the shit out of, and somebody sees it while that happens too. I don't know. Does that lady come into play? Because isn't it just like an old lady that sees it? Is it just to show that they're just like out here doing this shit and they don't give a fuck, I guess?
Yeah, I think they are just out here doing it, not giving a fuck.
But
Yeah,
don't we see immediately JK Simmons is there? Like he's one of these guys, right?
yeah, he's like the main guy that they keep showing, and he's relatively known. I feel like at this point, it was this 96. He might be known as that guy that you see. You haven't figured out his name yet.
There's a lot of those guys on this episode. His buddy Terry's also one of those guys. That guy was in The Wire, The Office, all kinds of shit after this.
Not on the level of JK though.
Oh no, I mean, but still, he was in the second season of The Wire, Steve. Come on.
One of the worst seasons. The docs. Talking about the docs.
Come on, man. Give the guy his propers. He also was in The Office for an episode, but still, Terry's out there. These cops, this is the thing, Steve. This is fucking New York. These are the NYPD. There's documentaries made of this every day, so I'm not surprised.
And after that theme song hits, we come back and Torres and Williams, they're at the hospital and they're talking to one of the drug dealers that got beat up. And he was just kind of like, man, I was out cold. I didn't even see anything. They beat the living bejesus out of us. Next I know it, my girl's gone. Oh, my girl's gone? Shit, I just knew she was getting beat up on. She's dead? What?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's who they killed for sure. And the guy was getting, like, no doubt about it, he's bruised the fuck up. It looks like he got run over by a fucking truck. And he's a snitch that Torres knows. Like, this is a guy he uses, so they already have like a relationship. And he's like, he tells him, I mean, they were crooked cops. He tells him that much. He's totally honest with them. He gives them some names, and one of the names is that Treadway dude, or is JK Simmons, whose name is Treadway. But I do like JC's like, man, this guy's a fucking just drug head, dude. Fuck this guy.
You're not gonna bust a cop over the words of a drug dealer.
Yeah, dude. Fucking fuck it. You fuck your snitch. But that guy like keeps coming. I think like they want to, I don't know if they say it here, but they want to get that guy into like witness protection, basically.
Yeah. Eddie's trying to get him out of town. And he's saying that to their boss. And I basically, what do they call it? Is it a stipend of some sort?
Yeah, I guess if you're snitching, you get an envelope of money to go like chill. Which, I mean, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, we chose the wrong profession.
Yeah, I don't want to snitch, but damn, I mean, an envelope just of some bread, that's pretty cool. I'll go get an 8th, get a pizza, maybe a nice hotel. We'll chill out. It'll be fun.
At least a Motel 6.
But also the lieutenant points out something too, where she's like, Yeah, well, this is all great that we got this name, but what are you guys gonna go undercover? It's a bunch of white cops. Like, we got to get some whiteys to infiltrate this gang because I don't think Jay Torres and fucking JC. I don't think you guys are gonna fit in.
Pretty much, man. And so like they figured this out, and Nina, she goes up to meet with Officer Massini, and apparently back in the day they used to mess with the same dude. So they get over that, and
Mm.
Torres and Williams, they show up, and they're basically kind of cornering Massini, like, we need you to do this. You have to. Like, Massini, like, I'm not your person. No, you are though. You're
Because you're
perfect,
the
right?
only you're perfect because you're the only person we can think of. Okay.
In our ethnic facility, nah.
And yeah, so they blindside her, and the chick's name is Bonnie, if I'm not mistaken. And got to say, Bonnie, hey, what's up, Charlie's Angel? She's looking sexy, and she's got a partner. Is her partner's name Queso?
Queso. It's CASO.
Okay. Yeah, Queso, white as the driven snow. And they're not like detectives. They're, I guess, beat cops. And I think Bonnie, like Nunez is like, why you were smarter than me when we were going through the forest. Like, why are you still doing this? And she just says that she likes doing it. Which wonder what the pay bump is when you become a detective, Steve. You know what I'm saying?
You get to wear your street clothes.
That's cool. Business cash every day. That's pretty awesome.
But if you're Torres and Williams, you get to wear some of that Carl Kanai, some of that
Give me
polo
give me a cream turtleneck and some black jeans real quick.
with the herringbone chain.
Hell yeah. Um and then we go to a market, Steve, or something. Can you explain what's going on here? Because I was taking notes, and then I believe like we see a scene where cops are being called to like a buffet where a woman won't stop eating, like she won't go away. Is that what's going on?
That
Like,
part I didn't understand. I didn't know if she was like the one cop's mom, if she was the wife of the store owner. Like
they're like, you gotta go, ma'am. And the guy that owns the place is like, she won't leave. I told her to leave. And they're like, ma'am, you can have 5 more plates. And she just, it's like, tase this fat bitch and get her out. Like, I don't know what was going on
17.
there. It was confusing.
I'm not leaving until he agrees to 17. 17 servings. Get her fat ass out of here. She's eating me out of business.
Man,
No.
this was a. I got 18 more plates. You went up one, lady. But so New York's finest are being called to shit like that. But the people I think being called are Bonnie and Queso. That's why we're here. And after the fact, Bonnie starts talking to Queso, and she's like, "Look, we need to do this. We need to." She's like laying out what was like this undercover thing, and I think she thinks that Queso's not like might be hesitant to do it, but I think he just is like, "Yeah, I'll fucking do this." Like, I had some crooked cops plant some cocaine on me back in the day, so I'm not about that lifestyle. So let's fucking go in here. Let's do some internal affairs shit.
And in the next scene, we see that Torres gets the stipend uh, for Ortiz, and that's the snitch's name, Jesus Ortiz. He gets the stipend to give to Jesus so that he can get out of town. And real quick, we go to Queso, and he's getting patted down by JK and company. And he asks him, "So how ambitious are you, Queso?" Because they know he's a rookie cop. They come in with such good intentions at first.
Yeah, and they're like, because I think they're like, why would you like, because he asked if he can do something. They're like, why would you do that? And he's like, well, I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. He's saying all the right things, Steve.
Yeah.
It's because he's a natural police, to use wire terminology. Um, and yeah, I mean, if he was wearing a wire, that's just like, if that was that easy to find a undercover cop like investigating them, that's pretty fucking shitty cop work. So salute to them for not wiring up Queso.
And he was able to talk him down, and they tell him, like, look out for that partner though. She strikes me as the righteous type. He's like, no, dude, you don't understand, man. I got her. Got her. Me and her, yeah, we're doing the nasty.
I love that. Doing the nasty.
She's crazy about me. She'll do anything I tell her, anything I want.
If I was one of the crooked cops, I'd be like, doing the nasty, you're a virgin. You've never had
That's
it's like 40-year-old. He's like, yeah, it's like when you grab a titty and it's like a bag of sand. Like, wait, what? But then Queso posts that, tells Bonnie, he's like, yeah, I did it. I got in with them. She's like, what'd you say? He's like, oh, I told her that I told him we bagged, and she's not happy about that. See, Bonnie has like a little like butch ass, she's like a little tomboy, it seems like,
she doesn't like guys.
Yeah, but Queso's gonna try to wear her down, Steve.
And this is another scene. I don't know what the relevance was. Freddie Wells, they get a call up to his place, and he's got a knife up to his wife's neck. The bitch burnt up the damn lamb chop.
It's just a good old-fashioned domestic, Steve. You just had it. That's really what you see here. This is a man that been married about 50 years. Like, man, the bitch told me she ruined my dinner, man. Like, sir, it's cool. He's like, and this guy also has like the energy to his dog that Buffalo Bill had in Silence of the Lambs. Like, you go near his dog, he's like, you don't touch that dog. I'll kill your ass. So Bonnie, to just add some stress to this guy who's got a knife to his wife, she's like, oh, you're gonna kill your wife? I'm gonna blow your dog away. I'd be like, dude, what the fuck? But it does, Steve. He lets his wife go, fuck a burnt pork chop, and she doesn't kill the dog. But yeah, it was they just like dropped you right into that. This guy's sweating, just really intense. Butter knife to the bitch's throat, I think. I mean, wild.
I don't know. Bitches be burning up lamb chops.
I mean, sometimes you just don't want to hear that shit, Steve. Me and Kendra love each other, but every once in a while, I'm not going to do this, but I mean, maybe 60 years down the road, I'm like, I done had it, bitch. I'm not watching RuPaul's Drag Race again. No!
I hope we're not foreshadowing. And check that episode of Happened in the 90s, episode 159.
He said everything, Audrey. It's on wax.
It's all there.
Kendra, I love you. It's never gonna happen. But they cuff dude. That's done. But Queso gets a call on maybe one of the first flip phones of all time. Like, it looks like a home phone, but he gets a call, and it's Treadway. So he's in, Steve.
Need you to do a favor. Do me a favor, Queso. And yeah, go ahead.
I got a guy. I need you to get a guy. So they get that guy, Steve. Turns out, though, unfortunately, that guy is the CI that we've seen Torres working with. It's Torres's dude. And as they find this dude, Treadway shows up, takes the guy away with his boy Terry. I love Terry. Terry, his like consigliere guy, his buddy. He looks like a dirty cop, but he just looks like a child molester that's on steroids.
It's the mustache.
It is. And as somebody who has the same kind of mustache, I don't know if I should be pointing it out, but Terry, great friend. He's down for the fucking cause, Steve.
And I mixed up the names, man. This guy is Sammy. That's Detective Torres's guy. Jesus Ortiz, I think he was one of the rogue cops who turned or could possibly turn. But yeah, so they get a hold of Sammy. They take his money, all of it, his blow, and what is it? Bonnie, she wants to throw it away, and Queso's like, no, hold on to this shit. What are you doing?
I also like that when they're with the dude, like Sammy says something about Bonnie the cop, and Queso's like, "Don't you talk about her? She's fucking cool, man." And she doesn't. Again, she's throwing this guy. She's like, "I'm not gonna blow you, dude. Like, I'm not gonna touch your penis. So stop this."
This isn't a date.
But we don't. I don't know if we see what happens to Sammy or not. But later we do, because Torres, JC, and Moreno get to a crime scene, and JC's like, "Yo, Torres, you're not gonna want to see this because his CI's Swiss cheese the fuck up, Steve."
Yeah. And we also see that Treadway gave them 5,000 apiece, 5,000. Wow. And once word gets back to the precinct, they're like, "Man, look, they got their hooks in you. There's no walking away from this now. Like, you're all in."
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. 5,000. What? I don't have. What money are you talking about? Matt, you're wearing a gold necklace that you didn't have on like yesterday. We see what's going on here. And this leads me to what I was telling you, Steve, that, I'm a nice person. I don't want people to get hurt. But if I'm Queso, and so all I have to do is look the other way and somebody hands me 5 G's, or I bust a drug dealer and on the table's like a couple racks that nobody notices, Matt's gonna dirty himself up, Steve. I'm gonna get into that dirty life real quick. I don't care, Steve.
I can't believe what I'm
Well, even Denzel Washington in Training Day probably started off good, but like they say in this episode, how much do you make? Thinking like they said like 28 grand a year or some shit. Like, come on.
in New York City.
Yeah. I gotta go to a Knicks game every once in a while, whatever. I gotta do something. I gotta flex. My name's Queso. I gotta get some of that cheese, baby.
See the Jets lose. And the cops, they do a little montage where they do a raid. They're making illegal gun purchases with the Jamaicans, and they have a little celebration at the end for all their troubles.
Yeah, dude. Because I think what Treadway's trying to do is pit the Jamaicans against the Dominicans.
Yeah.
It's like the Bloods and the Crips at some point. They're just trying, they're taking guns from one group, giving them to the Jamaicans. Everything's Irie, Steve. I like that Jamaicans are always like the go-to, like there's always a Jamaican gang in a movie. Predator 2, the Jamaicans were like the gang. I think Bad Boys 2, maybe it's sequels. You got to throw a Jamaican gang in there,
What was that Steven Seagal movie? Was it Hard Target?
I mean, the Hard Target was one of them, yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
But shit's Irie, Steve. It's Bomberclat and Treadway's just making out like a bandits, And I'm with him.
He even rolls up on Queso, just real nonchalant. Hey, I still got some of that nose candy you got to taste. Like, dude.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll party, dude. Queso's just fucking, he's like Dirk Diggler and fucking Boogie Nights when he's hanging out with Todd Parker. Just like, where the fuck were you at, Treadway?
And he also has some arm candy with him. Well, Vanessa, that's her name, Vanessa Morgan. And, while she's by herself, Queso, he strikes up a conversation and just to try to get some intel unbeknownst to her, because even Treadway, he says, man, I hope you don't think that she's really in town to see her grandma.
And as they're in whatever this is, it's like a dirty cop bar. It just looks like some shit like in Goodfellas,
Pretty much.
That we do see that Treadway, he's looking at Bonnie a certain way too, where he's like, man, you could catch it too if I can get away from Vanessa. Vanessa looks like the throwaway chick on Sopranos, like, you fucking piece of garbage. She's like the one that just goes away screaming at one point.
I'm going to tell your wife about this. All about it.
And then we go to the streets, Steve, because JC and Torres now they know who Vanessa is, and they shake that bitch down. They got her she's dripping mascara down her cheeks. She's freaking out. But she's getting the sugar daddy treatment from Treadway. She's put up in like a nice place. But Vanessa's spilling the beans, kind of.
She doesn't give all the information. She tries to withhold because she knows that this is like a little info shakedown, man. And shortly after Torres and Williams leaves, Philpott, your boy Terry, shows up, and he put the paws on her. You could tell. And he calls up Treadway, and he's like, "Hey, man, there's a change of plans. I talk more about it when I see you in person." And so now the rest of the road cops, they're having a meeting. And while they're doing that, they're waiting on Philpott, and they hear the cop sirens. They go outside. Philpott's been arrested.
But he ain't saying shit, Steve. They got him they got him locked up. They're throwing every threat they can. Like, well, maybe we'll call internal affairs. Maybe we'll call the FBI. Maybe we'll call your mom, Philpott. But he's like, just call my lawyer, because that's who you need to talk to. But
He's not cracking.
yeah, he ain't saying shit, which I respect. Terry, he's a mensch. He's a good second in command.
In the next scene, Marino, she's dressed like a bag lady, just in disguise. And yeah, it's pretty random. And she slaps this tracker onto their car. I guess it's the car that they intended Treadway to be in.
Well, and they also, she has to do this because this is the only way they can pass information, Steve, because Treadway's everywhere. He's got eyes everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's another lady, and she is one of the fiends. Like, she's a heroin addict or whatever. And shortly before Treadway and his goons show up, she's talking to Torres and Williams on one side of the building, and then so they go away. She goes around the corner, and boom, Treadway and his guy, they're right there. And they're just like, "Hey, so where's Ortiz?" Because now they're looking for him to kill him. And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about, lady. I'll have you in the can, and you'll be going through withdrawals. All right? How's that sound? Puking your guts out, shitting your pants, huh? You want that to be your life? He's up there. Right there."
Thanks. So they call fucking all the other crooked cops, Team Crooked Cop, and we cut to like a creepy New York building warehouse shit, right? And Jesus Ortiz he's right there. So he's tied to a chair. He's beat the fuck up. And Treadway's like, "Hey guys, we got him. We're good. Queso, I'm gonna want you to shoot him in the fucking head for me. So here's a gun." He hands Queso a gun. And Queso turns the tables. He's got a gun. He's like, "You're under fucking arrest, Treadway." But Treadway's got that shitty douche smile on. He's like, "You think I'd give you a fucking loaded gun, kid?" And the kid even tries to click it, Steve. He clicks it. But there's no boom. There's no click, so Treadway is always one step ahead, and it's just like, shit. That's a moment where if you pull the trigger on a gun and just hear click, the next thought in your head is just, son of a bitch. Yeah, fuck.
And Treadway, he blasts Ortiz, like, enough of this talking. Wow. And Queso, like, while this is going on, he points the gun at Bonnie, and Queso kicks the gun out of his hand. And then shortly after that, Torres and Williams, they make it there, and now we have a shootout.
Crooked cops versus good cops. Shirts versus skins, Steve.
Shirts versus blouses.
And we're in like this crazy warehouse. There's ricochets everywhere. People are running. Bonnie gets to Treadway at some point. And, I like Treadway too, because he is a good classic villain in that his villainous speeches and explanations just go on too long. Because that's what gets him in trouble here. He blasts the fucking guy and he could be gone, but he's like, "And then this, and then the lasers come." It's like, dude, just stop.
Just shoot him already.
Yeah, fuck. But I mean, what do you think is going to happen here, Steve? JC Torres, even now Bonnie. Does Bonnie and Queso are they on the squad now? Do you think like because they're good cops? You know, they add some to this team.
Yeah, they're one and done. We don't see them after this episode. But, you know, it's
Shame.
Torres and Williams. They always get their guy or gal.
Yeah,
And
dude.
in this case, they got their cop, their rogue cop, man, all of them. And in the final scene, we see that they're losing their badges. And their boss, their sergeant, he's like, "You'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law."
And Bonnie and Queso get some kudos from I guess the captain. There's the dude. There's like a dude boss, and then the lieutenant who's like their main boss. So they get some kudos. And I do have to say, it seems like at the end, like Bonnie might throw Queso and HJ at least. Seems to be warming up to old boy a little bit, Steve.
I think that's where it'll stop. Just HJ. Them softball practices got her all rough and bothered. I bet you can give a rugged one though, man. And like we cap it off with a love of your own performance by the Barrio Boys. Oh, love of your own.
Dude, if you don't get laid going to this bar though, this is might be the most panty dropping bar in television history, Steve. Every week we see it. There's just some soul song just being just live. That's great. The drinks look great. There's people in turtlenecks just chilling next to neon lights. It seems awesome. I'd love it.
Top notch stars, man. If it's not Mary J. Blige or James Brown or Al B. Shore, man, yeah, top of the line.
And JC and Torres are sharing a drink. And JC asks Torres, he's like, "Did you ever get tempted?" And, it's not very big, but Torres is like, "Yeah, first week, some guy offered me $100 just to let him out of a ticket." And again, dirty cop mad. I'm taking the hundo, Steve. I mean, the city don't need this.
And then a little girl is ran over by a drunk driver later that night.
Well, I'm not a good cop, Steve, but Torres is, and he didn't take that 100, so he was meant to do this.
Yeah, and you are not, my friend. And on that same day in 1996, the final episode of the Mickey Mouse Club airs on the Disney Channel.
There was a lot of celebrities you didn't know were celebrities on this. I think Britney Spears was.
Yeah,
I think
Christina
that
Aguilera.
Timberlake was on this. What's his name? Handsome guy, Ryan something, the driver dude.
Ryan Seacrest.
Somebody, but a lot of child stars, a lot of singers. I was never a Mickey Mouse Club fan, Steve. I didn't have Disney Channel. So, I knew what it was, just wasn't in. I wasn't cool enough.
JC Chavez. Got to throw that in there. And I couldn't watch it faithfully because it was the same deal. It wasn't a part of regular cable as it would eventually be in our adult years. I want to say that's when it first started being attached to like regular cable when we were like 19, 20. It's like, Disney, now you want to do this to us. But for that month or couple of weeks when it was free 99, oh yeah, I was definitely watching everything. I was watching Mickey Mouse Club, Welcome to Pooh Corner, all of that shit, man. That's only exclusive to Disney. And this shit went on for like I want to say 40 plus years, bro.
Yeah, it was like the Bob Hope telethon. It was just like long lasting. It was like you would hear jokes made of it and stuff, and it was just one of those things that was around forever. But I feel like for us, like we were sort of into like the Attitude Era, even like X-Men the cartoon and stuff. And the Disney Channel was always more like squeaky clean. There was a few things I liked on it, like there was like probably like Rescue Rangers and shit like that on there, but I just wasn't that big of a Disney Channel fanatic. The movies all in, especially in the 90s, but the actual channel stuff, salute to the Mickey Mouse Club, but I wasn't rocking there. I wasn't rocking with Timberlake like that at the time.
Yeah, neither was I. But also on that same day in 1996, Magic Johnson is the second NBA player to reach 10,000 career assists.
Yep. I mean, what else can we say? I mean, the Magic Man, Steve. I got nothing bad to say about the guy.
And I don't know if you remember him coming back for that like half of a season in '96. This was the same year the Bulls went 72-10, and he had already retired because of the whole HIV thing in the early '90s. And he's like, you know what? I'm not dead. I still got some go in me. I think I can still play in the NBA. And I give him props for doing that. Like,
See if there was no rust on it. He didn't quit because of injury. Oh, well, I mean, AIDS, but it wasn't an injury. But I mean, I remember him coming back, but I don't remember like what success. Did he have any success? Was it like Jordan, where he just kind of it was slow to get back to what he was, or did he ever like get back there at all?
didn't stick around long enough because after this season, he didn't come back. And the Lakers would eventually draft a kid named Kobe Bryant. They would trade for a guy named Shaquille O'Neal. And we have a new era upon us.
Damn, dude. But he came back. That's cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
it is.
Salute.
Props for that. And that following year, 1997, Jungle to Jungle premieres. A man learns he has a 13-year-old son who was raised in the jungle and brings the boy to New York City, turning his life upside down in the process. Directed by John Pasquin, starring Tim Allen, Martin Short, Lolita Davidovich, David Ogden Steers, Joe Beth Williams, and Sam Huntington.
There was another movie with Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas that came out that was not this storyline, but I feel like I always get them confused.
Which premiered on this day, Man of the House.
Was that it?
Yeah, it premiered on the day we're recording this. Yes.
But yeah, man. I mean, Tim Allen's got a jungle kid. He's like Tarzan. I feel like I don't even remember if he can communicate, but I don't remember too many details about this.
Mimi Siku, dumb movie. It's a dumb movie. Like the kid doesn't have on clothes. Like, I get it. You're from the jungle. Your dad's in New York. So your dad brings you to New York. Like halfway through this movie, he's still wearing his like jungle stuff.
Can I ask you though, his kid, they find his kid in the jungle. Did he just like leave his kid in the jungle? What happened there? What's the explanation?
His ex-wife, he's there to see his ex-wife so that he can get his divorce papers straight. Because like he's got a current boo, but they can't do anything until he legally divorces his like ex. So she's out there getting trains ran on her by the native men and
what the fuck?
She's taking on their whole culture and everything. She's wearing she's doing all of that. And so while he's trying to get these divorce paper settlements, she lets him know that they have a 13-year-old son. So shitty wife, slutty ex-wife.
Hey, listen, can you come get this kid? Because I'm trying to get dicked down by all these guys. He can't see what's about to happen, okay? So come get him.
Chief Smackaho says he needs to go for the summer.
Hey, something's wrong with that guy's leg. That's not his fucking leg. That's hilarious. But it's weird. This is a Disney movie, though.
Very.
I mean, they were making great calls in the 90s, but this one they veered. They saw Home Improvement. They thought they could do it. Yeah, now I'm seeing the kid.
It's like Jason Mewes.
He does kind of look like a little kid, Jason Mewes. He was in other shit, though, wasn't he?
Sam Huntington? I'm assuming so. He had to be because he just has the look like he was in stuff.
Yeah, he looks like a Hardy Boy or some shit, like just a white. He's a white child actor, Steve. Dime a dozen.
Snooze to the nooch. On that same day, Private Parts premieres. And this was really cool. The autobiographical story of Howard Stern, the radio rebel who is now also a TV personality and author and movie star. Directed by Betty Thomas, starring Howard Stern, Robin Quivers, Mary McCormick, Fred Norris, Jackie Marling, Gary Delabate, Allison Janney, and Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti kills this. Pig Vomit.
Pig Vomit, man.
WNBC. And I gotta give this movie credit because it had a very jackable moment where he is humming into the mic while the chick is losing it on air while she gets vibed by the speaker. And he's like, I love that.
And there's also the scene with the naked chicks making out with each other. Like I think it's a part of that same scene where she's like fantasizing about like this hedonistic like dream.
It was a great movie. The one thing that was kind of weird is just like he's just like, and the thing of it is, I just love my wife. Like he said, like I think that's the last line in the movie. He's like, I just love her so much, and he probably got a divorce right after the movie came out. But I did see something very cool about this, where Howard Stern was interviewing Paul Giamatti, I think pretty recently, and they were talking about like reminiscing about doing this movie together because this was like one of Paul Giamatti's first like big roles that he got in movies.
Yeah.
But Howard Stern said it was amazing because the guy he's playing is, you know, a real person. They just changed his name or didn't use whatever it was. And he's like, how did you know to play this guy so perfectly? Like you play, it's like I was looking at the guy that I knew in real life. And he's like, oh, I didn't know. I was so like, I never knew who it was or anything. And Paul Giamatti, I guess, just nailed the role. So I just thought that was really cool.
And I always would get him and Paul or Philip Seymour Hoffman kind of linked together.
Oddly enough, Philip Seymour Hoffman was the other choice for the role that Paul Giamatti played.
That's weird, man, because
Yeah.
I don't know. And like oddly enough for both of them, like I got introduced to them through like kind of weird movies. Like I found out about Philip Seymour Hoffman from Boogie Nights, but he's like a classically trained actor. He's done a shit ton of other things. Paul Giamatti, I found out about him through the Howard Stern autobiography. Like
It is weird, especially how prolific he is now, you know?
exactly.
But when
And
he's like, you are the motherfucking Antichrist, that's like one of his signature moments in cinema, I feel like.
you motherfuckers, you motherfuckers. The way he said that shit. WNBC.
Well, you know how much we love Howard Stern, and this was just a fun, you know, the book's good, and this movie's just like, especially for our time when how old we were when we came out, it was perfect because it was raunchy, it was everything you wanted a Howard Stern movie to be, and it actually had some like heart in it too, you know, it was like it actually had like a real, it wasn't like just like that movie The Ringmaster that Jerry Springer made that's just like trash, you know.
You really don't like that movie, do you?
It's just not good quality. It's not a good movie, you know. Like I wanted it to be. I was right there, Steve. I rented it from Video Connection as soon as it came out, but there wasn't enough titties, and it just wasn't that good of a fucking movie, if I'm being honest. But we're not talking about Ringmaster. We're talking about Private Parts and The Ledge, Steve.
It did have Jamie Presley though. I don't know. I like that. But that following year, 1998, the last episode of USA Up All Night airs. It's a late night showcase of cult and B movies.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we say about the lovely Rhonda Shear? I wanted so badly for her to just come like Weird Science out of the TV.
Yeah.
Not really my cup of tea anymore, like this type of woman, but you know, honestly, you're up all night, Steve. When Rhonda Shear came up, it was about midnight or whatever. It was like late. And I was just a little horny little boy that was just like, oh, I love this. She was just so sexy.
She knew what she was doing. She put emphasis on the all night.
Remember when she would have Gilbert Godfrey on and he would just be like he was so small, she would be like enveloping him and he would just be like swimming it. Yep, there he is. Was he always the co-host or did they just kind of bring him on after a while?
He was the host the whole time. And actually, yeah, Rhonda Shear was she didn't hop on until the second season because the original lady they had on there was Caroline Schmidt or Schlitt or Schmidt. And after that first season, they said that, you know, yeah, you're not it. So they picked Rhonda Shear and she became an immediate hit, man.
She's like Pam Anderson on Home Improvement. They just found like the angel. And she just would come in, she'd say something sexy. Then you get to watch a little horror movie. She'd come back. Gilbert Godfrey would say some crazy shit. And she'd be like, ooh, Gilbert, you're so crazy. Just like push the tits up a little. I mean, it was great. Whoever made the show got it.
They figured it out, man. 10 seasons, 900 plus episodes, man. Like, that would be a cool collection, man. If you were in your collecting days, that would be a good find.
I
To
wonder
have
if they
all
released this in a way where you could just watch it like at home, like a home video, like a DVD or something, because that would be kind of cool.
with the movies or without.
That'd be cool. I mean, if it was like Mystery Science Theater 3000 almost, where they would just like give you all of it. Because I mean, the movies they were showing were not good. I mean, everything you saw was just like the best thing you would see is like a Leprechaun movie or some shit, you know? There's
I'd like
always
to
some fucked up shit.
I'd like to go down the list of some of these. I know we don't have a lot of time, but yeah, man, 976 Murder,
Love that.
976 Evil. They aired some of the Nightmare on Elm Street was good. Amazons, Assault of Killer Bimbos, Assault of the Party Nerds, Assault of the Party Nerds 2, The Heavy Petting Detective, uh, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Basic Training, Basket Case, Beach Balls, The Beach Girls, Bedroom Eyes. Man, this was great TV.
But what sucked as a horny kid that you wanted to beat off to this stuff was that they'd show these sexy movies, but right when it got to where like a titty was gonna come out, it would just cut. They cut all the juice out of it, you know. You didn't get to see that. Um, and I honestly, Steve, I feel like, and I don't know what the name of the movie is, and maybe I'm just making this up in my head because it would be perfect. But Buff Bagwell was in a porno movie in the 90s, like an action porno, and I feel like they showed that movie on USA Up All Night. I forget what it's called. It's like it's an awful action movie with titties, and he's one of the main characters in it, but that's the level of movie that you were getting. A Buff Bagwell action erotic thriller, you know, something like that.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure that can be searchable.
I saw a really sad thing about like Buff Bagwell was on like a DDP yoga. Like he's fallen on some tough times. It seems like, Steve. I don't like that.
Yeah, man.
Marcus.
Too buff and stuff, man. Any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways?
One shout out to Buff Bagwell, Marcus Alexander Buff Bagwell. I love it. Love you. But 90s shout outs to this week. I've been delving heavy into the old 90s X-Men cartoon. They're bringing it back, and I think it's coming back this month. But I got some really powerful edibles this weekend, and I just let it go. I started like season in a random part of season 3, and I forgot all the mutants that they like shoved into it, like all the B grade ones, and even some of the villains like Mr. Sinister and stuff. I just forgot how much I love the X-Men cartoon. I'm excited to see it come back, and if you liked it back in the day and you have access to it, if you can kind of get into the rhythm, it's nice to just watch it one after the other and like binge watch it, because you never got to do that as a kid, you know. You didn't really, some of the stuff that was like continuing storylines, I forgot about it. But such a good cartoon, man. And X-Men, I'm excited as a nerd. I'm excited to see him come back into movies, and I'm excited for that cartoon to come back because I think it's just going to be fun, you know.
Man, I know the last time you talked about that, you sold me on getting Disney Plus back, and like the next day I got it. So
well, I think at the end of this month you're going to get to see some new. It's called X-Men 97, I think, and it's literally they're starting it right from where they left off in the 90s, and I love that.
Love that too.
What about you, dude?
Man, I want to give a shout out to Mike Jones, aka Virgil, aka Soul Train, aka Vincent. Man, R.I.P. We talked about him before a lot of times on this show, whether he was Virgil or Vincent, and he didn't have the career that was as great as a lot of his peers. You know, if you look at the history of modern wrestling, man, whenever he's mentioned, it's kind of done in a tongue-in-cheek way, which is unfortunate because there is greatness to that. He's known for taking bumps for people and putting other people over, making them look great, man. And you know, if you look at the Hall of Fame, who they have in there now, there's no reason for Mike Jones, aka Virgil, Vincent, to not be in there. You know, he's worked with the greats, man, whether it's Ted DiBiase, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, Nash, all the NWO guys, man. So RIP to his family, man. I hope he's found peace. In his later years, it looked like he was a really lonely man. And
That's sad.
It's a sad look at, you know, how a lot of these wrestlers end up living their lives, man. So
I will say, like, seeing the outpouring online, it seems like by and large, like, he had the utmost respect by everybody in wrestling, like anybody, even the new guys, like everybody was just how cool of a guy he was and stuff. So yeah, man, rest in peace.
sure, man. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Tell your sister she can do what she wanna do in the 90s. And in the 90s. I try to make it work too, man.
You
but,
did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
Check out our guy Clark the Shark on Podcastle, as well as Food Show Fanatics with Matt and Kendra, Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra B, and this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
Until then, remember, from the keeper of the Sizzle Kiss, if it's LA, it's Rhonda. Up all night.